what's been hitting home lately for me is like camera shyness and having the ability to be yourself on camera, because it's not a skill that's easily acquired. Like, you don't just wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, I'm amazing at talking on camera. I'm just like so comfortable doing it, so on and so forth. No, of course not. It's a skill that's built. And I really feel like you guys forget that all the time. You think that it's gonna get easier just out of nowhere without you guys like creating more videos or creating more content or, you know, showing your face in videos. But the truth is, it's not. It's always gonna be a little bit uncomfortable because, dude, you're putting yourself out there. You're exposing a side of yourself. And there are so many thoughts that come when you start to market yourself as a business owner online. I mean, for one that like came for me is like, I remember when I was like starting to market my media company, you know, 5-6 years ago, I was like, man, people are gonna think I'm broke. But I was broke. And I would like think like people are gonna think I'm like desperate and I need sales. But I was desperate and I needed sales. The more I thought about it, the more I just realized that what was really happening was my insecurities were just being exposed. Most of the time, the reason you feel so awkward selling is because you're not being yourself while you're selling. So what I mean by that is like, if you are naturally like sitting down next to somebody, a friend, you wouldn't just start like reading a manuscript of like your sales pitch. It would be really awkward. You wouldn't be like, hey, my name's blah, blah, blah. I'm a real estate agent. I've been doing this for 10 years, you know? And, you know, I am really a lot better than other agents. And like, you wouldn't over explain yourself for the most part, right? No, you'd be like, yeah, dude, I was just closing a deal last week. There was this cool problem that came up. It was like fascinating. This is how I helped them solve it. And then you would let the other person just kind of connect the dots. Well, I'm hoping you would. And what I'm really pointing at right now is that every time you go to hit record or market yourself, you have this internal monologue that's telling you you need to perform. And the truth is, you do not need to perform when you're creating content. Now, I think about these things like extensively, so I want to actually talk about what does performing actually mean. It's pretty simple, but performing means you're showing up with a mask on. You're not being yourself. You're not being genuine in your videos. In your brain, you're just kind of reenacting what everybody else is doing because you have this feeling of like, well, it's safe. They're doing it, so that's what I should do. And most people do that, unfortunately. But what that ends up happening is it ends up basically neutralizing your personality and you just sound like everybody else. And it's honestly worse than sounding like everybody else, because what it actually sounds like is you're being fake. And it's very hard to trust you when you're being fake. And you might think to yourself, well, people don't really know that. The thing is, though, they do. I've been doing this for like 10 years. I've been helping people create content. I've created content myself. I've also had this issue of like performing in my videos. And the thing is, people are picking up on your energy constantly. So it's really important that you honestly just give yourself a little bit of space to be yourself and create genuinely and create authentically. What does that actually look like? Like, how do you actually practice being more like yourself on camera? So there's no other way around it. The thing that you have to constantly do is just pick up your camera and start recording. And now you might feel like, well, I don't really have anything to say, or I didn't dress up today. But what I always tell people is like, don't worry, you're not posting everything. I'm not telling you to just pick up your camera and start posting shit. No, I want you literally just pick up your phone or your camera, and I want you just start talking to the camera as if you're talking to a friend. What's gonna happen when you pick up your camera and you start to record all the time is you're gonna normalize recording videos, right? You're gonna relax, you're gonna loosen up, you're gonna start to feel more like yourself. And that's probably one of the most beautiful things about creating content is you're really grounding yourself in self-expression. You're learning how to express yourself authentically. And these words go around on the internet so much. They're like buzzwords, like personal brand, authenticity, shit like that. But I like to keep it very simple. And simply put, you're just being yourself.